Yeah, it's me, Scotty from Columbus, Ohio. And I wanted to talk about Joy-Ann Reid's Twitter post
Yeah.
where she declares Bernie supporters saying along the lines that Bernie supporters are like the friend in college that comes over your place, eats everything and trash it, but doesn't want to pay any money. And it's that type of attitude that's making a lot of the youth leave the Democratic Party in droves, and it's why people are alienated from the Democratic Party because of this smug, limousine liberal attitude towards its supporters. I just wanted to get your analysis on that.
All right. Man, Scotty, I got to send you some George Soros money because this is the perfect segue into something I wanted to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about the possibility of unity in the Democratic Party. The number one thing I see that's stopping us from having, and when I say, let me correct myself, not unity in the Democratic Party, but unity in opposition to conservatism, to Donald Trump, to anything that's not progressive. And the fact that we actually need that unity, whether it's unity underneath the Democratic Party, whether it's a strategic, a temporary alliance with the Democratic Party, however you want to describe that unity, the fact of the matter is we are facing an onslaught of conservative of insanity, attacking us at some key points, attacking us on issues that should be settled in the American discourse, but we have been attacked because the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. And the only thing slowing them down is Donald Trump's fecklessness. Now, I don't think that's easy, but anyway, so we need unity, whether or not we have unity underneath the one-party system, two-party system, the Democratic Party. I don't care how you describe it. The fact is, we've got to fight back against what people like Paul Ryan want to do. And even if you disagree with neoliberals, and to what extent you disagree with them, at least neoliberalism represents a holding of the line. And sometimes in the military actions, you have to hold the line and stop the hemorrhaging. But we're at the point where not only are we not able to hold the line and just keep things where they are, we're facing an onslaught from Paul Ryan, Reince Priebus, and Donald Trump. And we can't get a solidified opposition against Donald Trump because of things like the caller just mentioned, because of people with significant platforms. I mean, a person who talks to millions of people every single weekend and hundreds of thousands of people every single day on her social media platform, feigning as though they want unity, but in reality, what they want is subjugation. They want Bernie Sanders supporters. They want to purge. They want to tell me how the hell this works. How do you simultaneously want to purge somebody and then at the same time you want to keep them involved in the party? You want them to acquiesce to your demands, but at the same time you want them to fall down and grovel before you and not really have a voice, but just do what you say. It doesn't work like that. And the divisiveness that we've seen from people like Joy-Ann Reid is appalling and disgusting, and it is extremely unprofessional for someone who fancies herself to be a professional. Extremely divisive for someone who fancies herself as a person trying to unify an opposition, the resistance against Donald Trump. It does not work like that. And the reality of it is that if you want to unify this opposition against Donald Trump, you can't do it by forcing people into subjugation. You have to listen to them, and you have to give some concessions as to what we agree on and then things that we don't agree on and negotiate. But no one in their right mind is going to bend over and capitulate to the whims of tantrums being given on Twitter to large audiences by people who should know better. In fact, I actually believe she does know better, but she's just taken this opportunity to try to stick it to Bernie Sanders supporters yet again. Now, I'm not going to draw a false equivalence here, but I will say the opposite side of the equation, not the opposite side of the equation, but something that we should consider would be what I'm calling now the insidious left. That far extreme, the conspiratorial left, the do-nothing left, that far extreme of progressivism that does not want to do anything but destroy the Democratic Party, even if it means giving strength and power to Donald Trump to do whatever he wants to do to us. That is something that we as progressives, just as much as neoliberals need to purge people like Joy-Ann Reid, who is divisive and destructive, we as progressives absolutely need to purge the insidious left that doesn't want anything but to see the system burn, even if that means Donald Trump having his way with us and ruining any progressive movement that we've had over the last 50 years. You have progressives on the insidious left that I describe in great detail who would rather see the New Deal completely done away with by giving unlimited power to Donald Trump and the Republicans by virtue of destroying the only institution that stands in opposition in an organized fashion against it. They would rather see the Democratic Party burn and the Republican Party be able to do anything they want to do than to ever find some coalition with the Democratic Party in order to just hold the line. And as much as Joy-Ann Reid gets on my nerves, the insidious left equally gets on my nerves, and all of them need to get the hell out of the way so the adults in the room can get shit done.